You're not going to believe this one. An HOA actually went so far as to send fake cops to my house to arrest me. Yeah, fake cops. But here's the kicker. I'm the chief of police. And let's just say, this didn't end the way the HOA expected. It all started a few months after I moved into a neighborhood that looked perfect on the outside. Nice homes, manicured lawns, kids riding bikes, it looked like the picture of suburbia. But once you scratched beneath the surface, you realized the HOA ran the place like a dictatorship. They fined people for leaving their trash cans out too long, for Christmas lights being up a day late, even for grass being a half-inch too high. Most people just paid up because they didn't want the headache. But I wasn't one of those people. The real problem started with my work vehicle. I drive a police-issued SUV. Nothing fancy, just the car I use every day on the job. The HOA, though, they decided it made the neighborhood look like a crime zone. I got letter after letter demanding I park it somewhere else. They said it was against community safety rules. I told them straight up, the vehicle is legal, I need it for emergencies, and I'm not parking it blocks away just to make them happy. That didn't sit well with them. From there, things escalated. The HOA started hitting me with fines I refused to pay. They called me out in meetings, slipping little digs into their speeches about special treatment. I got notes under my door about being a bad neighbor. They thought they could wear me down. What they didn't realize was that I wasn't just any resident. I was the city's chief of police. And then, one Saturday afternoon, it went crazy. I was at home when two men showed up at my door wearing uniforms and badges. They told me I was under arrest for repeated HOA violations. I almost laughed out loud. HOA violations aren't crimes, and you don't get arrested for having your car in the driveway. But instead of shutting them down immediately, I decided to play along for a minute. I asked, "Oh really? Under what authority?" They claimed the HOA had given them power to enforce community laws. That's when I really looked at them. The badges were cheap knockoffs, the patches on their sleeves were crooked, and their paperwork had the HOA letterhead printed on regular copy paper. These guys weren't cops. They were imposters, hired by the HOA to scare me. So I pulled out my actual credentials and said, "That's interesting, because I'm the chief of police." The color drained from their faces. They froze. One of them tried to say it was just a misunderstanding. The other started backing away like he wanted to bolt. But it was too late. I called for backup, and within minutes, real patrol cars pulled up with lights flashing. The imposters were cuffed on the spot and charged with impersonating police officers. A felony. The whole neighborhood went outside to watch. And who came storming down the street? The HOA president herself. She was red in the face, yelling that this was all unnecessary, and I was making a big deal out of nothing. She tried to claim she had the authority to enforce community safety. But when the truth came out, she was finished. Turns out, she had personally hired those fake officers using HOA funds. That's fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy all rolled into one. Needless to say, she didn't keep her position for long. The board was dissolved, new leadership was voted in, and the neighborhood finally started acting like a normal community again. As for me, let's just say the neighbors started looking at me a little differently after that. I wasn't just the guy with the police SUV in his driveway. I was the guy who stood up to the HOA and exposed their corruption for everyone to see. They thought they could intimidate me with fake authority, but instead they ended up in real cuffs. So here's the lesson. When entitled people and power-hungry HOAs push their luck too far, it almost always backfires. And sometimes it blows up spectacularly. Now let me ask you this. If two fake cops showed up at your door because of your HOA, what would you do? Would you call them out right away, or let them dig their own grave like I did? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more crazy HOA and